And he started getting like mad and defensive.
Yeah, classic.
And we were like, we're going to call the police. Who are you? And he goes, you really want to go there? Because I have a gun in my backpack.
Oh my God.
Instantly, I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't have a gun. And he was like, you don't want me to show you my gun. And I was like, yeah, show me your gun. Please. And they were like, oh, you don't want me to show you my gun?
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course you were.
Oh, yeah. Off we go. Oops, the podcast. I'm here with Julio.
Oh, yeah.
Chris and Ryan. The team, the squad is out in full. Lovely colors on the shirts today.
Yeah, the boys.
We've got a peachy theme, sort of a popsicle array. This is that tropical pack.
The tropical flavor.
The tropical popsicle pack.
Dude, I gotta be honest, the tropical flavor pack is just always at least 30 to 50% worse than the OG.
You think?
Yeah, it's just fun because it's like a novelty, and then you're like, yo, this pineapple flavor's whack. Like,
some of those,
get me back to the basics.
You know, some of those Starburst alternatives were actually solid. Problem was you'd always run into a banana cousin of some kind, and I think bananas are not meant for candy.
Yeah, like the yellow, you're like expecting something fun, and then it's banana, and you're like, ah.
It should be lemon, but you got banana, and that's not good.
It's no good. Yeah, the berry flavor are sneaky. Like they seem like they're going to be shitty, but they're better than the tropical.
Yeah, you're right.
And even with like those Welch's fruit snacks that brag about being like 0.07% juice or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, these are healthy. The tropical mix for those, whack as well.
Interesting.
And I still buy them because I'm a sucker. I'm like, ooh, the new one.
I've never seen it in blue plastic. Well, good stuff. We've had a few great days, fun weekend coming off.
Big weekend.
Start with this. Yesterday, Julio and I played some tennis.
We sure did. What a treat.
We bashed. Hill Dog came. Sierra was there. We sort of went to this awesome place that had grass tennis courts.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I'd never seen that. I'd never done that before.
Yeah, it was the night. Like I've maybe done it a couple times, and it was by far the nicest grass tennis court I've ever played.
It was
on.
A treat. It was a
treat. It was a real treat.
And we were bashing. Julio had my number, beat me hand and foot. But I, got good exercise, and I think at least in our first game we played, I upheld my honor enough.
You played well.
It wasn't he didn't run me off the court. Second game, he kind of ran me off the court. It was a little embarrassing.
I mean, dude, I should be running you off the court. Like if you I know the pressure is on me in those situations because Francis is good enough that like you still have to. As a tennis player, you still have to like play for real to win because like he gets everything and he's pretty consistent and he hits good shots. So and I know that he's like had success in some baseline games against other very good tennis players. So I know that I need to be solid to get the W.
You know what my problem is, Julio, is that I watch tennis and I think, oh, that's the strategy.
Right.
I've got you on the run. I should come into the net, forgetting that I haven't done any volley practice since I was a boy. And so I come into net, you hit me one, and I have to hit a decent, not too hard volley, and I just hit it straight into the net every single time.
It's funny. I remember we were playing one of the earlier points, you came to the net, and I missed the shot. And in my head, I was like, dude, just make him hit another shot.
Make him hit it.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Cause to your point of a volley, I know people who don't know about tennis think that volley means a rally. It does not. It means when you're at the net and you hit the ball out of the air. For anybody who didn't know that, just to clarify. I know that's obvious to
What kind of idiot thinks that because it's volley for serve?
No, people say, oh, that was a good volley. Like if you hit it back and forth.
I don't like those people.
Oh, they just don't know, dude.
Would you have said that, Chris? Let's go volley on the tennis court?
Chris says yes. That was a good volley.
I've never heard that before.
People say that.
Yeah, rally.
Rally is like the slightly more in the know term. Anyway, so I knew that the odds were in my favor if I made Francis hit another ball at the net. One I remember the points very well. One was like not a super easy volley. So I was like hoping that even if you got it back, I would have another shot at it. The second one, you missed an easy volley, and then you missed an overhead too, which those are two like very predictable things.
Yep.
So anyway.
The overhead hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I was hurting myself because I don't know what I'm doing.
You had a funny commentary. You're like, what am I doing with the rack? You said something really funny.
I love to say things on the tennis court that you don't hear real tennis players saying.
Francis is being pretty funny.
I like to scold myself in very dramatic terms.
And Sierra's been playing tennis a bunch the last couple of years, and it's really showing. She's hitting the ball really nicely.
She is.
I have never seen her play before, so I've only got to see sort of the finished product.
Yep.
But I was impressed.
We're doing something now that guys do, which is that we are encouraging Hill Dog to get into tennis and to play with Sierra, because we know that if we can make that happen, it will mean more time for us.
That's true.
To be together.
That's interesting.
And that as they're hanging out, we can go watch them do whatever they're doing and sip some Cocker Spaniels.
Do guy stuff.
You know,
drink soda.
They were having a girly conversation after we were having lunch right after, and they were having a girly conversation about not girly, but just a normal conversation. I don't even know, something that you hear come up in New York a lot. I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
And meanwhile, we immediately started our little sidebar conversation, and we were probably, I don't know, 10 points into that conversation when we realized, oh, this is a podcast conversation. It was about the minutia of something.
Yeah, I forget specifically, but it was funny.
You know, serving oneself toppings, or we both ordered the gazpacho.
Yes, it was
I don't think it was about the gazpacho though. No,
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but it was fun, funny combo, good time. It's nice to like get out and have a full day on a weekend, you know.
Yeah, and then you went to a wedding that night,
dude. So this whole weekend, I've been sort of like doing. So if I live my weekend the way that I live it, I'm prepared for the following week. But there's certain things that I don't typically do. And I did multiple of those things, and I feel like pretty shell shocked today.
Oh boy.
I feel like, who? So there's three contributing factors to this. Two of them are additional activities, and then the final one is something I have no control over. So a friend of ours had they graduated from law school. From Georgetown, super dope. She moved back to the city.
It's big time law school.
Yeah, it's very solid. And she's also one of these people that you like think she doesn't have her shit together, and you're like, oh, like how does she? And she will like somehow get like be like top of the class. She's like one of those people.
Yep.
Whatever. So anyway, she had her party during the day, which inevitably I don't like to drink during the day, but I didn't want to be a bummer, and like they're more of Hillary's friends than mine, so I felt the need to like have a good showing.
Yep.
So I was drinking during the day, which I don't enjoy doing. Into the night, kind of had like a late dinner, wake up, we go play tennis, and then I have a fucking Sunday night wedding. Same thing applies. I'm like, I haven't drank on a Sunday night in years. I'm going to tonight because of the wedding. Dude, and then I wake up this morning, like 7:30, which I was hoping to at least get to sleep until like 9, to feet next to my head because there's men directly outside of the window.
Oh.
Standing on scaffolding that they had built. The scaffolding before didn't extend to our bedroom.
Overnight?
Yeah, I guess.
You're telling me they erected scaffolding overnight like they're the Sims?
I have no idea how they did it. But
What are they? What's that game they play?
Yeah, I think you're right.
What's the game that leads to people being really good at coding?
Isn't it The Sims?
No, there's that, but then there's the one that's it's like smart.
I don't know. That's what it's called?
No.
I don't know.
Come on. You know this game. Minecraft? Minecraft.
Yeah.
These are Minecraft people.
But dude, so their feet are like, and
Minecrafters.
They're erecting scaffolding. So you just hear like steel things to stand on, and then you're hearing the hammer putting them in, and you hear, hey, hey. And music and coffee. I see a coffee being remixed from beneath.
Coffee.
And they're smoking cigs. So now our apartment smells like cigarette. But for some reason, the kind of cigarette like when a homeless guy picks up a cigarette butt and keeps smoking it. Cigarette.
Soggy.
It's a worse smelling.
It's a soggy cig.
Yeah. And now I'm just like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, they're probably lighting those cigarettes with blowtorches and soldering irons. Not for nothing, Julio. Those are the types of men that I love to watch.
I know, dude, but like, fuck that.
I like watching. Everything you just described felt good to me.
And it seemed like they were having an okay time. They were playing music. They were laughing. Great. Good for you guys.
Yeah.
And so I was posting videos of them because they're just right there.
Sure.
And somebody replied, like, those guys work really hard. They deserve everything they get and more. And I'm like, I'm not at odds with that take. That's fine. But like, why do they have to do it next to me?
Yeah.
Why are we here together?
Right. Right. Well, here's my question. Were they wearing tool belts?
Yeah. Tool belts, neon, hard hats.
Oh,
dude.
That's good. Were they wearing sort of work gloves?
Yep.
And then when they went to take their coffee break, did they take their gloves off, sort of smack them together, and then stuff them in their back pocket?
So, dude, for the most part, I could only see them from the like calf down thing because we don't sleep with the shades open.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's just a little bit of area.
What kind of boots? What type of boots are we working with?
Work.
Probably
boots.
those. What are they called? The red something boots.
I have no.
Red Wing boots. Yeah, probably
maybe.
Red Wings or maybe some Timberlands.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
were they dirty? Those boots?
They seemed averagely dirty.
Okay, good. Yeah.
They weren't brand new by any stretch of the imagination.
Good. Mm-hmm.
So, dude, yeah.
I bet their pants were dirty.
They were, dude. I mean, this wasn't that like dirty of an activity. They weren't.
No.
Like,
Oh, you're right. They're off the street.
They weren't in the ground.
These are the sort of elite. These are the climbers.
I wonder that. Yeah. What is the better job, or do you do both? And also, like, at some point, someone's like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you how to build shit or whatever, or to work on facades," and you're like,
facades.
"Oh, cool," and you don't even know what that is, and then you go for your first day with your dad, and all of a sudden you're 40 floors above the ground.
Yeah.
And is your dad just like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll get used to it," and you do?
I don't know. It's a great question, but I love the father-son theme of that.
I'll teach you a trade, son.
Yeah.
That's
Following in
nice.
Dad's footsteps.
His boots.
His booted footsteps. Maybe they're doing. You don't think they're doing like gargoyle restoration, do you?
I don't have any gargoyles.
You don't think there's you don't know gargoyles?
I feel like the gargoyle guy has to be like a tugboat driver. He's like a novelty special worker.
Yeah, they bring him in and he's paid hourly.
They bring in the gargoyle guy. He has just he has a little like tick 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 tick. He's
Excuse
like,
me, the left foot of this griffin. The left toes, the talons on our griffin have fallen over time, and now it just looks like a muted fist. It's a rounded fist, and certainly that would confuse anyone who knows that's a griffin.
Dude, that's so funny.
I'm glad I found Griffin. I needed Griffin.
That's really good. Griffin's really good.
Yeah, Griffin had to happen.
The guy has to be some like little Italian man or something too. Like, oh, the feet, she's a fall off of the griff. And then they're trying, you cannot put her back.
I agree.
Okay.
But here's my question. That little, sort of Michelangelo Sistine Chapel disciple, he might have a fear of heights.
Oh.
But you can't detach a gargoyle and bring it down to the street, can you?
I don't know. Why not?
Because they're stone.
But the Sistine Chapel, I mean, Michelangelo, he like worked on it on scaffolding, I believe.
That's true.
Like on his back,
he
painting
did.
The ceiling, right?
That's true. I'm just wondering, for the gargoyle restoration community, who, by the way, I would imagine a lot of them might be blind.
What?
Yeah, they work by feel. It's an old trade.
The same guy.
How many gargoyle restorers do you know?
Not many, dude.
No, you don't, because they don't go outside for fear of being hit by traffic.
The guy who worked in fucking Rodin's workshop, he's still out here.
Yeah,
150 years old.
Something tells me they don't. I don't know. They feel. They work by feel. I like the idea of that.
Well, it's interesting that you say that maybe they bring it down, because it does seem like the kind of job that maybe like when you're like a retired archaeologist, you do gargoyle restoration or something. So maybe it's like an older man's job. You know what I mean?
It's my side hustle. The dinosaur bones haven't been good to me lately. We had a real fail on the last dig.
It's an easier gig, dude. It's like when police officers retire and become like private security guys at people's houses.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
it's like
exactly
a cushy
right.
retirement gig.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Dude, my brother loves to tell me about dinosaur fossils in this way that I can never expect. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to Wyoming. He'll be like, oh yeah. He's like, there's really good fossil hunting there. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, man, like some of the best in the world. I'm like,
is he doing it?
No, I don't know how he knows that or why,
Huh.
but I find it pretty interesting.
I don't know. I don't know how I would do with the absolute tedium of brushing off a bone with a toothbrush.
Yeah, I have also like I am really bad at visualizing the finished product of something. Like even when someone's like, come see the renovations I'm doing. I go in there and I'm like, oh God, like I cannot picture how sick it's going to be.
Right.
And then it is. And I'm like, oh wow, I don't have that talent. But the same thing with fossils, dude. Like you just find a rock and you're like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, and now you're just chipping away with little tools like Tim Robbins in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
tick,
Like someone working on a gargoyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. On a claw
Oh, man.
of a gargoyle. Let's file those fingers into points.
Oh God.
Okay. So I guess we got here because we were talking about tennis. And then you went to the wedding that night. How was the wedding?
The wedding was lovely, dude. It was really nice. And there was something, it was a Sunday wedding, which I know is a little unconventional, but it was some of the nicest vows that I've ever seen be done. This is Will Winner. He's a comedian, great guy. Casey Salengo was the officiant.
Oh, nice.
And he was very good.
Yep.
And they sort of did a fusion of all of the events that kind of happen in and around a wedding all at once. So like they did that at first, got it out of the way. There was really, really good food. And it was kind of in this like townhouse, but it was sort of like what I would picture to be some kind of like Spanish style in like Valencia or something. I've never been to Valencia. I have no idea. I'm pulling that out of my ass, but like kind of like with winding stairs around the side. So it was like kind of an interesting setup.
Cool.
It's like 2-3 floors with like an outdoor garden, blah, blah, blah. And then they did the ceremony and then there was drinking, whatever. And then they did speeches and like the way that you would maybe have done at a rehearsal dinner. So it was like all put together and, you know, Hill Dog was having a great time. She was weeping like the sweetheart that she was. She was like, it's so sweet. Like she was weeping at the vows, but then just seeing the bride, she just immediately started weeping. And she doesn't even really know her that well. So I was just like, it was just classic girls getting in their feels.
Gotcha.
It was sweet though.
Gotcha.
You know, give her a little back rub.
Yeah.
She was tired too from the weekend. So
Is that
nice.
your move?
A little consolation back rub?
The comfort move, just to be involved in the cry a little bit.
So yes, but dude, I felt
Gentle
really
back
guilty because she was crying a little. I did not have a tissue, but I did. Out of nowhere, I started having allergies yesterday at the end of tennis. I don't know if you noticed that.
Saw that.
And that hasn't happened to me in years. I'm not used to that. So I'm just like sneezing. And it was also the kind of thing where when you breathe in, one of your nostrils just tickles. So you just can't stop sneezing for the entire day if you happen to breathe in through that nostril.
Oh, gosh.
So now you have to resort to mouth breathing, even though you theoretically can breathe through your nose.
Mm-hmm.
So when you stop thinking about it, you start doing that little thing.
Yeah, like you sound like Kojai.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm blowing my nose, and at this point, there was no access to like new tissue, so I'm kind of like using the same paper towel, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
And I keep blowing my nose in it, which it's fine. It's durable and holding up and doing the job. But she asked me for a tissue because she sees me using it, and I'm like, sorry, I've been using this one the whole day. So then another comedian, Alyssa Wolf, she happened to have a tissue and she gave it to Hillary, and I felt like I had let Hillary down. And I felt pretty guilty about it.
You know, there's that age-old practice of handing a handkerchief to a woman who is overcome with emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wondered how much Spanish flu was transferred that way. I mean, imagine you've got a handkerchief in your pocket, which presumably you've been blowing your nose into.
Yes.
Right? What woman accepts that?
So
Why does that happen?
But was that the used handkerchief? This was the full utility handkerchief that was being handed out.
Yeah, I think most handkerchiefs were used.
Were used.
You know? Maybe people had multiple handkerchiefs on them.
That's what I was hoping for the sake of the ladies out there.
Yeah, but then they would use it, and then the woman would wipe her wet face off, towel off with it, and then hand it back to the guy, and he'd stuff it right back into his breast pocket.
Yeah, maybe there was like a part for strangers and a part for you or something. Like
I don't know.
I don't know. But dude, my great grandmother died from the Spanish flu.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh,
sorry to hear that.
Hey, it's all right.
I'm sorry.
No, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Being really
sorry to throw that in there.
Being really sort of thoughtful and feeling for a relative that was lost.
Yeah.
100 years ago.
Yeah, roughly.
There's something there.
I think something around that time.
There's something there.
Wow. So yeah, but dude, it is like she was. So I felt guilty because she was starting to do that thing where like she knows if she's too aggressive touching her eye, she will smudge. So she's doing the kind of like,
oh yes,
the levy, the like finger levy.
The levy's well said. Yes, creating the levy. Catch the eye.
Catch it.
Pool it. Let it pool, and then suffuse, osmose back through the cornea.
Exactly.
I don't know where those tears go.
Yeah.
Do they just go back to the well?
I do not know.
Why? How does it go back into the eye?
I do not know. That's crazy.
Women do that. It's amazing. And it makes it's like the tear that the eyeball can actually just suck the juice back in.
Yeah.
I've never understood that.
Maybe it just goes back to like eye lubricating. Is it the same thing? Eye lubricant and
are tears made of the same thing as a Visine, basically?
No, as our natural eye lubricant.
I don't know. Don't know the answer to that. Ryan's looking it up. His fingers are flying.
Ryan is over there.
The second we started speaking quizzically, he ripped open the laptop.
Partly just in case we need it, but also partly because he's just a curious young man.
He's a curious man.
He just wants to know.
Yeah, curious man.
Can't hate him for
that. Shrug of the shoulders. He says, me? I'd like to know things. Okay, very good. So rest of the wedding, good, yeah?
Rest of the wedding.
A wedding of comedians,
It was like 50-50, and not even. It was predominantly non-comedians, but there were some comedians.
So let's ask ourselves this. Is there still an effort among comedian themed, or let's say a strong contingent of comedians at a wedding? Is there still an effort towards the whole one-upsmanship, who can be funniest? Let's, make the speeches as funny as possible. Is there sort of an expectation of that?
There wasn't enough comedian, like there was more non-comedian speakers than comedian speakers. There was only one comedian give a speech, one comedian was the officiant, and that was it.
Got it.
And they were both sufficiently funny, but didn't overdo it.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So they can drop the facade.
Yes.
Without letting the gargoyles go with it.
Correct.
Tumble down to the earth and splatter into 1,000 pebbles.
Exactly.
And only be reassembled by the most trusted hand of the world's blindest gargoyle restorer.
Giovanni.
Giovanni in Pamplona.
That's right.
Yeah.
They send it to him. They're like, oh, well, it's going to take at least 4 weeks. We got to ship it over.
He's like, I've been retired for 20 years.
He only works 1 day a week, too.
It's not who I am anymore.
From 4 to 6 p.m. Operating on embassy hours, dude. It's insane. Well, speaking of which, I am officiating a wedding on Saturday.
Your second?
My second one.
Who's this? This is the one in...
This is Brent.
This is in Budapest.
Yeah, so this is actually good because...
Do you say it Budapest?
I'm probably... Saying Budapest is like not quite as douchey as saying Ibiza, but it's close. Budapest, there's just no need to make that choice.
Uh-huh.
You can say Budapest. It's fine. Maybe when I'm hanging out with my Hungarian pals, whom I'd have none of, besides the bride-to-be, I'll say Budapest.
I like Budapest. I like it. I gotta say, I like it.
It's funny. Okay, so this is a classic thing. Budapest is a city that like a lot of people have been to, like when they were abroad.
Yep.
And they love to be like, oh, Budapest. Oh no, they'll be like Budapest. I love it. They'll be like, it's Buddha and Pest. They're two different places. Like I've heard that like 19 times. Apparently, yeah. One side is Buddha, the other side's Pest. Buddha's and I forget what they were saying about it. But I'm like, okay. And it started to make me self-conscious, or not self-conscious, but aware of the fact that just because I've been somewhere doesn't mean I need to sit here and tell you all about it when you tell me you're going there.
Yeah, right.
They're like, oh, you're going there? Oh, you're going to love it. Have you been? No, not yet. I've been.
But but also you are in this rarefied air where no one will ever go to the places that you've gone.
That is true, but I do mix it up. So I have been to some of the places that everyone has been, plus places that they have not been.
But also, if someone were to go to one of the places that you've been, they would want to hear what you had experienced.
True, but they will
for the sake of their lives.
They'll typically quote dangerous place versus not. I will. My policy is that I wait for a direct question before just deciding that I'm going to give you, because you may have your whole thing planned. And if you don't need me to get involved, why should I get involved?
Yeah, but if I had planned out a whole trip around in Nicaragua and and you came in and you were like, whatever you do, don't go to the covered mosquito market. And that was like day one. We're going to be at the covered mosquito market from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's our number one thing. And I said, why not? And you were like, if you go, you'll get West Nile virus. They haven't been vetting the mosquitoes the way that they used to. It's totally unsafe, etc. Then I would want to know that.
Okay, fine. That's different. I agreed. But when it comes to like, somewhere everybody's been, there's just no reason to be. I've just been annoyed at people. And maybe it's because I'm like jealous that they've like gone to a lot of places or something. I don't really know. But it's annoying to like get too involved. Agreed. And in fact, somebody gave me a really helpful Nicaragua tip recently when I was talking about this. Was
it a woman?
Yeah.
She's in my book club.
She mentioned that.
She's awesome.
She seems cool.
She's a digital nomad.
Awesome.
I don't know what that means. She's told me a few times and I still don't get it.
Does it mean like you or whatever? She works remotely forever sort of thing? Yeah? Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. She bounces around to some really cool spots.
Yeah.
And she told me to tell you some really, really important information about going there. And halfway through, I said, you need to tell him this.
Oh, thanks.
Because I'll get it all wrong.
Yeah. So it was a thing that could easily have been missed about submitting your COVID test to the airline before you board the
you would have
plane.
need to wait 36 hours in Miami or something like that.
Literally in Miami, yeah.
Which would have been
that would have really sucked.
Hell.
So
yeah,
especially with how short of a time I'm going for. So that was really helpful in that context. Obviously, it's very nice. But in a way, dude. So
her name's Amanda.
Amanda? Yeah, I forgot. I mean, I have her.
She's really cool. She's great.
Yeah, she's been really helpful. We're hoping to maybe link up with her if possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm officiating, right? And he's also asked me to like give a little speech on at the rehearsal dinner. And in a way, I've sort of been practicing for this for quite a while. Brent has been a big highlight on the podcast, and I'm trying to decide how I'm going to assemble. I have to talk about him speaking in metaphors, obviously. We have a couple good stories. So I'm actually looking forward to the speech, and it will also sort of alleviate the pressure to kind of have to be funny while I'm officiating. Yeah. And instead I can just get right down to the meat and potatoes.
That's good. I also think the officiant role is one where you can sprinkle some humor in there, but that's not the expectation.
Right.
The best man speech, try to be funny.
Right.
But officiant, you're a referee.
Right.
You're a law invoking citizen.
Right. So I think that they also realize that. They're like, oh, well, he's probably good for a speech too. Maybe we should get him to give a speech also.
Oh, they're going to double you up?
I'm doubled up.
You're going to have a speech as well as the officiant role?
Correct.
Man.
I know. I was like, would you like me to jerk you off too, dude?
Yeah. God, want me to pay for your honeymoon? What the hell? Sire their firstborn?
Dude, oh man. We just, Brent and I have a lot of good tales going back. It's going to be a good time. Also, like a good mixture of people who I have not seen in a while. One of those, it's going to be a good time.
Tell me about how you're getting to Hungary.
There's no direct flight. So we are flying, I think, through Geneva on the way there and then through Frankfurt on the way back. I believe the first flight is Swiss Air and the way back is Lufthansa, but both booked through the Lufthansa website.
Got it. Nice.
So Tuesday night, overnight flight. And yeah, connecting in Geneva is kind of nice because it's a little bit further east get to sleep a little longer.
Want to know how I'm getting to hungry?
You're not.
Because I had a light breakfast.
Oh, there he is. There he is, baby.
I'm really actually am quite hungry. I'm not sure why I ate so little.
Because you only ate gazpacho for lunch yesterday, dude.
I did only eat gazpacho.
It was quite refreshing.
It was a nice gazpacho, a little chilled soup.
Yeah.
Normally, I do like my gazpacho totally pureed. I don't want chunks.
Interesting.
In my gazpacho.
Interesting. I love the chunks.
You like a chunky gazpacho?
I like a nice chunky little cucumber, and I'll tell you what. I feel like the gazpacho measuring meter, as far as a good gazpacho versus a bad gazpacho, is how red it is. If it's very red, it's typically not as good as one that's a little orangey.
Really?
That's how I feel.
It's funny you say this. I actually like a green gazpacho.
Oh, wow.
When I think of gazpacho, I think green.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think gazpacho is a dish that it is perfectly suitable to drink from the bowl.
Agreed.
You can drink it.
You can. And a place actually that I used to go that made a really mean gazpacho, when you get it to go, they give it to you in a fucking cup.
Yeah.
You drink it out of a cup.
That's nice.
I agree.
I like being able to drink. But again, Julio, this brings us back to whether or not you want your gazpacho chunky. Because if you have a chunky gazpacho, drinking it feels brutish to me.
I understand where you're coming from, but I like the fusion sip. Choo, 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 choo.
Oh, okay.
Choo, choo,
now, are you
sip, choo.
when you see? Are you keeping your eyes open with those sips in case a rogue chunk comes down the gullet?
No, because I do like a pre-screening of the gullet, pre-gullet.
Yeah,
I feel what's in there, and then
you use your mouth to feel.
I use my mouth to feel before going straight for the sort of whale, baleen, krill. Before doing that move.
Oh, baleen. That's good. So you're telling me, okay, so you do a little feel around with the tongue, like, big one coming.
There's a chunk.
Get ready to chew.
Exactly.
And the reason I feel like drinking the gazpacho when there are chunks is brutish is that I think you should only be able to drink from a bowl if it is pureed sort of consistency, liquid, you know? A broth, say. Because as soon as a chunk of anything comes floating down, if you have to open your mouth wider to, if you have to widen the aperture to accept that chunk,
right,
you risk it spilling out the corners of your mouth.
Fair. And
chunks can get messy.
They can. And I think that if you have a thing like a bowl where you're supposed to use a spoon and you choose to just drink out of it, if you are chunking it up in that moment, that's not a good look.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Do you think there's anything to be said about starting with the spoon and then switching to drinking towards the end?
It's certainly a thing. It's
you know
certainly
what I mean?
a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something I do a lot.
Yeah.
Where I just throw in the towel and say, I've worked my way through this enough that to finish it off, I'm allowed to just take the bowl and tip.
Yeah. I mean, for the finishing touch, it's certainly a quality.
But if you picked up that bowl from the second they set it down, the full bowl, and you started drinking, you're a brute.
You're a brute. Yeah.
You're a brute.
That's bad.
Even if it's pureed. Right?
Yeah, if it's just a full big bowl, I mean, that was a big bowl.
That was a big bowl.
So
I got a bowl, you got a cup.
I got a cup because I had mine as a starter. Francis had his as his meal.
It's a $14, $8 split, by the way, for those wondering at home.
Which I thought was the perfectly appropriate split. Like the bowl was significantly bigger than the cup.
It certainly was.
So it was a nice sort of like the large smoothie versus the small.
It almost feels
upgrade.
that the cup was mispriced because your cup had so much less volume than half of my bowl.
All right.
And yet it was more than half the price of the bowl.
Right. $8
to $14.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did. I actually did.
When they brought I was glad that you had the cup and I had the bowl so that I could feel that I was getting more value.
Right. No, but it's true, dude. Like it reminds me of the place I get smoothies where the 16 ounce versus the 24 ounce, there's only like a $3 increase, $11 versus $14, and you get 50% more.
That's pretty good.
Which is, it gives you the incentive to scale up.
Do you think they would have been angry if we had just ordered one large bowl of gazpacho for the table and then passed it around between us as though we were camping?
So it seemed as if no, actually. It may have been the best scenario to do that because this was a place where it was sort of the patio and you could choose to do nothing there. You
Also,
could just get a drink.
I wish we called patio pasho.
Pasho.
Like
nice.
ratio.
Yeah. Ratio?
Ratio. Pascio. Be fun if they were the same.
That would be.
But they're not.
That's why English is confusing for people.
Arbitrary. It's ridiculous.
Patio.
Yeah, the patio.
Well, dude, so I actually...
We eating inside? No, let's go have some gazpacho on the patio.
Well, this brings up something good, actually, because... So I was unaware at first that, you know, we were being treated to this lunch. It makes sense now that I think about it. At like a club, they will put it on your account usually kind of thing. I wasn't really thinking about it. And I ordered multiple courses when I was being treated, which one might frown upon. I actually thought about that possibility as I was ordering, but I realized that I ordered a sandwich and the sandwich price point was fairly low. If I had ordered the salmon plus a starter, that would have maybe definitely been aggressive.
Yep.
So I thought that since my total price was still in an acceptable range, I didn't feel as guilty.
It certainly was. It was certainly fine. And also your starter was a cup of gazpacho, not the venison crudité, you know,
the beef tartare.
sourced from the deer that crossed the railroad tracks at the wrong time. So, by the way, we talked about the bowl. Did we talk about the bowl that got hit by a train?
The bowl? No,
Someone
I
was telling
don't
me,
even know about
this was in Scotland. So one thing that's cool about a lot of these golf courses in Scotland is that they have train tracks that run along them a lot of the time.
That's cool.
And a lot of the open rota courses that they play the British Open at are built along railroads or are on railroads because they built the railroads adjacent to them so that they could easily bring people out to the tournament to watch the tournament.
Oh.
But it's cool because
cool.
you often have, as you're swinging, you risk spraying it right and having the ball land on the railroad tracks, and there are fast trains that are running by, and you know how I love trains.
Yeah.
So,
do you?
Oh, sure do. And they do have a cow pasture. Apparently, one of the caddies, that really cute caddy, was telling me this. He said that they had a cow pasture that was adjacent to the railroad tracks and the golf course, and they had not erected a suitable electric fence or some sort of barrier, right? And one day the bull got out and stood on the train tracks, and the train hit the bull.
Oh shit.
Instantly creating hundreds of portions of beef carpaccio, if not thousands. I don't know.
Does that like affect the train's trajectory at all? If it's like a full, or is it just do the passengers feel that?
I gotta believe it would depend on whether the bull was facing the train and pawing the ground with its head lowered versus sort of standing sideways, the way my dad did going through that security reader at the airport, just sort of letting the train T-bone it into a T-bone steak.
There you go. Very good.
Oh,
very good.
Wow, we're on fire today. We are on fire. We're feeling it.
In the zone, baby.
Don't you think that would have been fun to witness, though? A train hit a bull?
I don't know, dude. Maybe.
That would have been fun.
It would. I feel like maybe the video of it would have been fun since it already happened. I'd be like, oh God, seeing it live stresses me out a bit.
Yeah,
especially if dude, you could get hit by bull spray.
Spare parts. Bull spray.
Yeah, like spray, like I don't know, collateral damage, innocent bystander.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Take a hoof home, mount it. What's that from? Oh, it's the day I shot 78 at Panmure and a bull hoof ended up in my golf bag, hit by a train. What are the odds?
Your ball hit the hoof and it actually made it go onto the green, whereas before it would have ended up in the fucking trap. That bull sacrificed his foot for you, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I love that. Good. You mentioned stressing out. You posted a Instagram story today that I saw. It was a TikTok
Oh yeah,
of a guy in a sauna.
Did you see that?
I didn't even think it was real.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
And if it is real, it breaks my heart.
Everything about it stressed me out, including the guy. So it's a video of this. All right.
Tell the story.
I don't like, it's a video of a guy in a sauna calling another guy out for like being annoyed at him for playing music or something. What?
As I understood it, the guy who filmed the TikTok and posted it was watching TikToks on his phone.
Yes.
In the sauna with volume on.
Yes.
And then the other guy who was in the sauna said, "Can you not watch TikToks with the volume on? Can you turn the volume off? We're in the sauna.
Right.
I'm trying to relax." And then the guy who had been watching it flipped out and filmed him and was like, this guy, and posted it as a TikTok, was like, this guy told me to turn the volume down when I'm watching TikToks on volume 10. And he's like, bro, you don't want this. I'm going to fight you, like threatening him.
He's like, you're a little bitch.
And he's filming him in the sauna. And there's so much wrong with that.
Yeah. It was very fucking stressful.
And it's one of those things where if I had been in the sauna, I don't know what I would have done. Because you don't want to like fight someone in a sauna.
Yeah, and this guy, you could see the other guy, like he was trying to kind of stand down, but the guy just kept pushing it.
Which is what broke my heart. And it made me want someone to beat that kid up.
I know.
I hope the universe extols its karmic fist against that bad boy.
He's a bad boy.
I hate that kid. I want something tragic to happen to him.
And then at the end of the video, there's this guy who's like, that's completely unacceptable. That part was equally stressful. I'm like, dude, this video spoke for itself. We didn't need your commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot take. The sauna's for relaxing, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, get out of here.
Yeah. Well, what we needed was for that, because that guy looked pretty muscle bound.
Yeah.
He looked pretty muscle bound. He was in the gym, the guy that was offering his commentary on the video.
So, but he also, I see what you're saying.
We needed him to go into the sauna with his clothes on and beat up the kid.
Here's the problem. I feel like the guy who was filming the guy who initially objected to his TikTok being played loud, the guy filming the other guy feels like he has the advantage in a fight. He seemed like a bigger guy, and he was younger. Well, and the other guy was like kind of shorter and older.
But then it's just bullying. That's all it is. He was bullying him. And what we needed was someone to be in there with him with clothing on, so that you don't risk tussling and grappling and having your towel come off. Next thing you know, your penis is accidentally pushed into the hot rock bed.
Oh God!
And you're turning your wiener into schnitzel.
Oh God, dude, yeah, you got to be careful fighting in the old sweatshop.
Yeah,
dude, I went to a sauna. Man, I have two good. Okay, actually, I want to do this one instead. I walked home from the wedding. The wedding was in the West Village. I walked home afterward, and I witnessed a fight on the street that was crazy.
Whoa!
So
really?
a guy rode by me on the sidewalk on a bike.
Not supposed to do that.
In a way, it was a city bike, and he kind of was going too fast, and he kind of went right by me, and I was sort of like, fuck this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I see a guy on the other side of the street, this like big guy wearing a button-down shirt. It looked like he was leaving the office or something. And he had glasses on, and he was screaming not super appropriate shit at the guy on the bike.
Really?
They were on opposite sides of the street, so it was unclear what had happened, if like maybe the guy had breezed by him too close to, maybe even hit him, and he started screaming, fuck you, you're a little bitch.
Okay.
And then also like fucked up things that
racist things?
Yeah, potentially.
Hateful things.
Potentially. And the other guy was yelling it back. And then
the same things?
He was saying, well, it was almost like now the guy who maybe had seemingly been initially wronged was now going too far overboard. So now he was the wrong one.
Oh.
And the other guy was kind of like, yo, fuck you, dude. And he was like, no, fuck you. I'll fuck you up. And then he went down into the subway And then the other guy,
the guy in the button-down shirt,
went down in the subway. The other guy went down into the subway too.
On his city bike?
No, he left the city bike on the street.
Wow, that's gonna cost.
He put it down.
I've been there
dude,
before.
This guy, no offense, had clearly this city bike. He doesn't have a city bike membership.
Oh, he doesn't have a membership.
It was one of those.
He was the guy who took mine.
Yes,
Okay.
and he just left it in the street for
see.
that reason.
I see.
Anyway, they both now descend into the subway. I'm like,
go down there?
I gotta go down
Yes,
there.
yes. Thank God. Thank God. If your story had ended there, I would have been fucking furious. Okay.
So anyway, I get down there and the guy's about to swipe his Metro card, the button-down guy, and he sees the
I
bike.
was like, there's no way the guy without the city bike account has a Metro card that he's swiping.
Well, anyway,
That's a turnstile hopper if I ever
this
saw
guy
one.
looked like he was heading to the Path too. The Path was at this station.
This is the Path is a train
goes to
different
New
from the
Jersey.
subway that takes you across the river under the river into New Jersey.
And in fact, but you can access from the same station sometimes, like whatever. Anyway, so the guy's swiping his card. He sees the bike guy over his shoulder, and the bike guy's holding a Gatorade. And it looks as if the bike guy's going to throw the Gatorade. And the button-down guy turns around. He's like, "You're a fucking bitch. I'll fuck you up."
What kind of flavor was the Gatorade?
Purple. It was the purple Gatorade,
okay,
yeah.
good, yep.
Arctic something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind throwing that. But if it were an orange, I'd probably hold on to it.
Yeah, it was the purple one.
Okay.
And apparently it turned out that the button-down man supposedly had said that he had a knife. And he goes, "You don't got a knife." He's like, "You're full of shit." He's like, "Yeah, I do." Like, da-da-da. They just start fighting. They keep fighting. And then
They're just arguing.
they're yelling, but they're not actually physically fighting. But like they're maybe both
By
prepared
the way,
to.
never bring a purple Gatorade to a knife fight.
Dude. So yeah, part of me was like,
Unless you have a knife too and you're just using it to hydrate at halftime or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. It seemed like maybe that wasn't a great decision on my part to go down there, but I did really want to see what ended up happening. And then the button-down man eventually ends up leaving the subway station, and now the Gatorade guy is standing with this sort of older man who had also witnessed what had happened, apparently, because he goes, "Yo, don't worry, bro. He doesn't have a knife. There's no way he has a knife." And the other guy goes, "I'm sort of more concerned about the stuff he was yelling." I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy."
Wait, okay. All right.
that was it.
So much to unpack
It
here.
was good, dude. It was pretty good.
All right. Hold on a second.
Obviously, I have to go see what happened there.
Yeah. So, okay. So you're telling me that the guy with the Gatorade was brandishing the Gatorade. How far apart were they?
He was cocking it. They were probably like, okay, so and to give you an idea, I'm bad at like eyeballing distances. So the 23rd Street F train station going uptown.
Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah. So the Gatorade man was sort of parallel with the booth that you buy tickets from, and button-down man, if there's 5 turnstiles to sort of get in, he's on the second from the left. So that's how far away they are from
really specific. I mean,
really specific.
I'm bad at eyeballing distances, but you know,
no, but I could
16 paces off of the bottom step coming in on the uptown station.
I was gonna guess 50 feet.
Yeah.
Is that fair, or is it less than that? It might be 30 feet.
Yeah. Okay, I get what you mean.
Okay.
But they weren't getting into each other's faces.
They were not in each other's faces. The Gatorade man did say, "I will kill you" at one point to the button-down man, which seemed like a big escalation. At one point, I was like, "Ooh, Gatorade man whizzed by the wrong guy on the sidewalk." But then when he started saying, "I'm going to kill you," I was kind of like, none of this needed to happen. And why am I still here?
Yeah. Okay. Now, was the guy who was saying he was still sort of sticking with his I've got a knife story?
Sort of. It kind of became clear that he did not have one.
Yeah.
Because when he said, "You don't even have one," he didn't say, "Yes, I do." He just was like, "You're a bitch." Essentially.
Okay. And that they were never gonna fight each other then.
It felt like it could get there, but at this point, it seemed like, oh, maybe it's not going to happen.
Knife poser was the one who ultimately walked away.
Knife poser was a fucking huge though. Like remember that guy? Remember the guy in the Jets who wore the neck? He wore like a seat behind his head. Who was that guy? He had like a head.
Yeah, sort of like Mike Allstott. Remember Mike Allstott in Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe that name. I haven't heard that in a while. All right, but Cox.
Brian Cox.
Yes, he used to have the like plane seat behind his head.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, so this guy looked like
plane seat.
He looked like a Brian Cox guy. He was fucking huge.
Give me a picture of Brian Cox.
But also looked
seat.
like.
Oh yeah.
That's what Brian Cox looks like. Oh, that's not what I.
He's got the plane seat.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Okay, well,
just carries it with him and as a flotation device.
He looked nothing like that, but he looked like that guy combined with Spike from Little Giants' dad.
Nice reference.
Like that little buzz cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like scary looking.
His father, the one who makes him do push-ups on his arm as he holds onto the refrigerator.
Exactly.
Pull-ups rather.
That guy, yes. So anyway, this guy was huge, and the bike guy was not.
Yeah.
He was sort of little, but lanky, but just no shot in a fight against the big guy.
Okay, so this ultimately just quieted down. And you said that, this is what I'm confused by. You said that the guy with the Gatorade was not someone who had a city bike membership.
He didn't seem like he did.
Which instantly to me means that he's not probably, I assume that means he's not really that with it.
So he didn't appear to be causing much commotion. He seemed like he was minding his own business, even though he was being pretty annoying on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering if the big guy, the button-down guy, had just had a bad day and somebody riding on a sidewalk on a city bike and accidentally hitting him just made him fucking snap. Mm-hmm. And the button-down guy seemed to be the most in the wrong for sure, like no question.
Interesting. Okay, and when the button-down Brian Cox airplane seat guy left, you said that the Gatorade holder then spoke with another person who said he didn't have a knife. And what did the Gatorade holder say? No,
the Gatorade holder assured this he said old, he called him like old something.
Old timer?
He literally called him something like that.
Old sport?
But he said it was like a sign of respect.
Yeah.
He was being like, don't worry, old head.
Old buck?
Old something, yeah.
Was it old, what would it be?
Old chum? No,
not chum.
Chum is like same plane.
Also, it's way too familiar. Old.
It was a showing of respect. Don't worry, old whatever. He doesn't have a knife.
It's bothering me now.
And the old guy was more like I was more concerned about the things that he was yelling.
Oh, the old guy said that.
Yes.
So was he still saying hateful, racist type things in the subway?
Less, but yes. He said a couple, but on the sidewalk, he said shit that I was like, wow, are you serious? Mm-hmm. And then all that happened was everybody came back upstairs from the subway and the button-down guy kept yelling things as he walked in the other direction. And I kind of was like, there's no way that this is going to peak higher than I've already seen.
Yep.
So
you saw the climax.
I'm going to throw in the towel.
Yeah. One time, all right, that's a great story. I'm really glad we got there.
A lot of detail.
Thank you for that.
I got you.
Here's one. When I was a freshman in college, we were at my friend's dorm drinking, and I think it was near Halloween because I'm pretty sure two of my buddies were wearing roller skates. Anyway, we were in there, and for some reason, a guy and three girls that I don't know how we knew them. I don't think we knew them very well. And it was a freshman dorm room. So we didn't it wasn't a big party. You know, it was a small gathering, no more than 10 people, because you couldn't really do much freshman year. You had to be careful, you get in trouble. Mm-hmm. But we're in there, and somehow the guy and these three girls left. I remember the guy had a backpack, and then our friend whose room it was, said, "What happened to my speaker?" because he'd been playing music through a portable like Bluetooth speaker. And we were all like, what? Oh shit, that's right. There's no more music playing. I mean, what a noticeable thing to steal from a party.
Yeah.
The speaker from whence the music comes. So we ran out the door and sort of went out onto the street out of Harvard Yard. And now we're on Mass Ave. And we see them ahead of us. And we ran them down. We were like, hey, did you guys take our speaker? And the guy was like, what? No. And the girls are instantly like, no, we didn't take your speaker. And I'm like, the guy had a backpack. And I was like, let me open your backpack. He was like, no, fuck no. And I'm like, well, if you're saying no, that makes me think you took it. And he's like, all right, fine. And he opened it up and he pulled out the speaker. And he was like, oh, I must have thought that was mine accidentally. And he handed it back to us. Right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, dude, what the fuck, man? Why would you steal our speaker from our party? And he was like, man, I didn't steal that. Get out of here. And he started getting like mad and defensive.
Yeah, classic.
And we were like, we're gonna call the police. Who are you? Like, why were you in our dorm? Why would you do that or something? And he goes, you really want to go there? Because I have a gun in my backpack.
Oh my God.
And instantly I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't have a gun. You know, we're 18, right? And I'm like, you don't have a gun in your backpack. And one of the girls was like, he does. And he was like, you don't want me to show you my gun. And he had his hand in his backpack. So he's holding the strap at the top, that little.
Dude, what a classic scenario this is.
Yeah. And he's like, and he's turned to the girl and he goes, should I show him? And the girl goes, you don't want him to show you his gun. And I was like, yeah, show me your gun, please. And they were like, oh, you don't want me to show you my gun. And man, I remember being like, trying to just call them the bluff, but also being like, what if I'm wrong?
Yeah. It's sort of not worth it.
It's not really, like, we've got the speaker back, but also I was so certain it was bullshit. Because what sort of 18-year-old who's going to like college parties and stealing
Bluetooth speakers,
$60 Bluetooth speakers?
Which sadly, I feel like guns cost that much too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Unfortunately.
And ultimately, he never took his hand out of the bag to show me whatever. You know, it was such a bullshit move. And I still, to this day, I'm pretty confident he didn't have a gun. But ultimately, we walked away.
What a stupid situation. He steals from you. You stole from me. Why'd you steal from me, dude? I didn't steal from you. I'm calling the cops. You don't want me to show you my gun. What are you talking about?
But dude, I distinctly remember that the girls were corroborating the claim of him having a gun.
Ride or die.
They were
dude.
instantly on board with this, like turning to me being like, you don't want to see his gun. And I'm like, I actually haven't seen many guns. I frankly, for the sake of learning or experience, I'd like to have a visual on this piece.
The heat.
Yeah.
Show me the heat.
Can I hold it? Like, you can take the bullets out. I don't care. I don't know. Maybe we go somewhere else and look, because I feel like we'd get in trouble if we pulled the gun out here. But
oh my God,
I don't know, man. That's
some serious gaslighting going on.
I've experienced this lying while a fight was brewing thing before.
Yeah. It's not a good thing.
I think once when I was in Florence, Italy, I was visiting my friends while we were studying abroad. And there were some guys that had come out of a nightclub, and it was just another group of like fucking American frat boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all wearing button downs and bullshit. So it's really stupid. And I think someone was like, I didn't want us to get into a fight. And I think I told the leader of their group, who was also trying to like calm it down. I think I told him that I was a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And as a way, and I think I said, I'm legally obligated to tell you. I'm pretty sure I said that. And then he like went back to his group and was like, we don't want to fuck with this guy.
It's still unclear to me whether or not that's a thing that you're supposed to do, because I've heard that too.
I don't think you're supposed to. I don't think you have to do that at all. I'm frankly, I wasn't doing it to. I really wasn't doing it to posture or peacock. I was doing it to avoid the fight.
Yeah. Smart.
So I think as douchey and as stolen Valerie as that is, I at least used it for the right reason.
It's very funny.
And I was also very drunk. So I would never do that now. But I do not know jujitsu whatsoever at all. No. But I did say that.
Dude, that's unbelievable. That's unreal, dude.
I knew that by adding the legally obligated thing, it would sound more official. It's like, oh, I didn't believe you until you told me that until you used it as a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Guys, in case he breaks our arms now, we can't sue him anymore. He let us know.
Yeah, dude. You're covered.
Yeah,
dude, that's insane.
Yeah,
good line though, man.
Yeah,
you gotta do it.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it there. Fun.
Take her home.
What a fun.
Ryan.
Oh, Ryan's
Hit
got
us.
the facts. Ryan with the facts. Hit us with the facts.
This is like pardon the interruption at the end of the episode when the what's his name fact checks everything they said.
I didn't even know they did that.
Tony Reale, right? Is that the guy?
So the black belt thing is a myth.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Gargoyles. They were originally designed in the 13th century by French architects as a means of disposing of water. So think of them as the precursor to the gutter.
Got it.
Typically, a trough is cut through the hole,
the mouth,
and it comes out the mouth.
How fun is that?
And then for the tears, I couldn't find anything because if I typed in "I tears," it would read as tear, and I don't want to click any further in that.
Yeah.
Nomads. The average age of a digital nomad is 32 years old, and the Gatorade flavor purple is called Rainberry.
Rainberry?
Yes.
Isn't there like a Gatorade Frost flavor that's purple also?
Yeah, there's one like that too.
But is Gatorade Frost exist still?
I'm not sure. But
yeah.
Standard standard purple Gatorade is Rainberry.
Rainberry.
Well
done, Ryan.
That was fantastic.
That's so good. What
really
you've done there.
comprehensive.
Really, really nice.
That's a really nice thing. This should become.
We need that a lot more.
That's a thing.
Because then we'll get in less trouble. You know what I mean?
We should make a name for this segment.
Yeah.
Ryan's
Facts with Ryan.
Facts with.
We can also just call it facts. You know how some people like to say that when someone says something they agree with, they go facts.
Facts. That's facts.
That's facts. Yeah. That's facts with Ryan.
Hey.
It's too bad your last name isn't like Flax, because then we could say that's facts with Ryan Flax.
Facts with Flax.
Yeah, or Max.
Ryan Max.
Yeah. Facts with Max. All right. Either way. That's Oops the Podcast. What a fun episode. Thank you all for joining us as ever. We love doing the podcast for you. And what's coming up? I will be in the Washington, D.C. area at the Arlington Draft House, July 22nd and 23rd. I am excited as hell to be back there. Lots of new stuff, some new music stuff in my act. I hope you guys will come check that out. Tickets for that, francisellis.com. And that's it. G, anything?
Cool. Yeah. Tampa. 14th through the 17th. So right now it's saying that I'm going to have 6 shows. We're like finalizing the specific details. So for everybody who's been waiting on those dates, thanks for being patient. And then July 28th, Seattle, the Crocodile, and have some more fun stuff coming up soon. Thank you guys and see you later.